What's up everyone, Tim from Everyday Tactical Vids here, and I'm putting this video together at last, and it's on my car survival bag. And a couple things I want to share as I start basically an explanation of this bag, and then we'll go into looking at the bag and the contents of it. First thing is that I had a couple different bags. I've used the LA Police Gear Jumbo Bailout Bag, and I've also used an NC Star backpack, and I've transferred to this LA Police Gear backpack because I personally like to have a backpack so I can throw two straps on it if I need to go somewhere. The single strap is good if you have to go a short distance, for me at least, but I prefer a backpack with two straps. This actually has a variety of different straps, go around your sternum, your waist, your shoulders, so that's just my preference as far as bags go. When it comes to my kind of philosophy of how I organize this bag and put it together, I originally had a survival bag for closer to kind of a bug out situation, or I'm in the woods of North Maine and my car goes off the road or my car breaks down and I got to survive away from civilization for an extended amount of time. The likelihood of that happening and me not having other gear is pretty small. So if I'm going to be in northern Maine, where I got to do some camping or whatever, northern New York State where I do a lot of camping, I'm probably going to have food, I'm probably going to have a tent, sleeping bag, all that stuff, because that's why I'm going there. I'm not just kind of hanging out in the woods for no reason. So in light of that, I've rebuilt this bag, again, similar to my EDC bag, as things I'm likely to face or tools I'm likely to use in a variety of different everyday situations. So that's why this is Everyday Tactical Vids. I'm trying to think, how can I, and in turn, help other people think about the idea of living tactically every day in the situations that a variety of us are going to face. So we'll go into looking at the bag and the contents of it, but I just want to give you that as background so you know my philosophy and my thinking as I actually put the bag together, all right? Let's check it out. First thing let's talk about is the bag. This is the LA Police Gear Operator Backpack. Runs about 50 bucks over on their site, lapolicegear.com, and I'm putting together a review on just the bag alone. But this is my bag of choice, again, because it offers me the option to throw it on my back with two straps and a lot of control as I'm actually moving with this weight or this backpack on my back, as opposed to just a single strap option like a sling bag, or even just like an over-the-shoulder bag similar to a bailout bag that they sell, or like a range bag. So that's why I prefer this bag. This also has a lot of pockets. It's very nicely made. It's very solid. And that's a big deal for me because I'm not particularly gentle on my bags, throwing it in my car, taking it out of my car. So that's why this bag is the choice for me. And again, I'll do a separate review on that. Let's look at some of the items here on the outside. Starting at the back here, you can see I have three patches, 1, 2, 3, right across the top there. My gear meter patch, my original SWAT patch, love their boots, and just another patch I found on the internet. Nothing terribly symbolic about these. These are not to identify me if you found my bag, or communicate anything. They're not reflective. They're just morale patches. So that's that. I have two tack links here. These are from ITW. These are great for attaching additional gear to a pack, or if you're in camp setting something up and you want to set up a line, rig some sort of system to dry clothes or even hang something. These are good for that. These are not weight bearing, i.e. they're not good for rock climbing, rappelling, or mountaineering. They can hold some weight, but certainly not the weight of a human being. So please, let's not hear about you on the news that you were trying to do something crazy off a mountain cliff with these and you hurt yourself. So that's not what they're for, just for hauling gear and attaching gear. Down here, I do have a weight-bearing carabiner. This is a rock climbing carabiner. You can pick these up at EMS, REI, other outdoor stores that have a mountaineering or rock climbing section. And then attached to this, I've got a couple different items. I do have a thermometer, and I got this from the Mountaineer, which is a store up in Keene Valley, New York, in the Adirondacks. If you're into ice climbing or a lot of other outdoor stuff, that's a great area to go up there. This is a 1 meter tape measure, and I have this, for a variety of different things. I originally bought this for tracking, because when you're doing tracking, you want to measure the size of the print and then the difference between where one print is to the next. But this can be used for a variety of different things. I've been surprised how often I use a tape measure for different projects. And then this is an SOL emergency whistle, and I want to have this immediately accessible so that if I need to get somebody's attention, I don't have to dig through the inside of the pack to find it. I can just pull it off the carabiner quickly. So that's pretty much this side. I'll talk about the knife in a second. Over here on the side, I have a pen and then a miniature Sharpie, and I just want these accessible to me in case I need to take notes or write something, leave a note on my car, leave a note in the woods, whatever it might be. I've got writing utensils. Over here you can see the HK Conspiracy. Let me just hold it up like this. HK Conspiracy. So this is a fixed blade, full tang, very strong knife, very beefy knife. And I have this in this pack because, or on the outside of this pack I should say, because this pack is in my trunk, not accessible to anybody, and I'm not walking around with it all the time. So in general, if I was wearing this pack a lot, I wouldn't have a knife like this strapped on the outside. That just can draw too much attention that I don't want. But since this is in my trunk, often covered up, I have the Conspiracy there. And that gives me a bunch of different options. Just a solid fixed blade from HK, and also if I'm out and just want to work on some survival skills, I do have a full tang fixed blade knife. So that's pretty much the outside of the pack. Now we'll start down at the bottom and then work our way to the inside. Down here in the bottom of the pack, I really like this entire pack just because it has a lot of sections like this. So mesh with a zipper, a bunch of different mesh pockets. Starting here in the middle, you can say I have some bandanas. And these have a variety of uses. Obviously this one's a little bit brighter, so you could use it for signaling. Also you can see there's print on it, and it gives you a rundown of some of the symptoms of various sicknesses, and then also some ways you can treat it. Now this is not the same as being a medical professional, but if someone has acute mountain sickness, you can identify it and you can actually start working to help the person out. Not again like a doctor could, but you're moving in the right direction. Obviously for filtering, for medical purposes, great to have bandanas. So I got two of those. Over here in this end, I do have this Altoids pack. In the back are two large needles. And I'm a big fan of Dave Canterbury's 10 C's of Survival, and this is part of the second 5 of the 10 C's. And this is he has cloth sail needle for one of those C's, but these are just large needles for sewing or whatever possible purposes you could have. So I keep these in some duct tape to make sure that they're safe and no one gets hurt. Inside the Altoids can here, I keep this sealed with these 2 rubber bands so it doesn't fall apart. But open it up, and inside we have a bunch of different lighting options. So some waterproof matches from Yuko, and then we have a lighter, and then we have a magnesium bar and a ferro rod on that. And then underneath that, you can see we have a signal mirror in the bottom. So we've got a bunch of different safety devices and combustion devices here in this little bag, or this little Altoids tin. Close that up. Down here on this end, Columbia River eating tool with a bunch of different included tools as well. So I've always got some sort of food utensil with me. Got a Leatherman multi-tool here on this end. Actually, this is not a Leatherman, it is just a multi-tool, but I do have a Leatherman with me regularly. In this section, I've got some LL Bean mountaineering sunglasses. These are the kind that have the leather patch that goes around both the sides. And these are important, particularly if you're out in the snow a lot, because snow blindness can be a very serious, debilitating situation. So that's why I have these with me, and obviously just for general sunglass use. And then we have, very important for the woods of the north here in New England, got to keep your mosquitoes and your black flies away, so bug repellent. And then the last thing here is a large garbage bag, and this is good for solar still, just general garbage collection. You can use it to hold water, whatever it might be. So that takes up all this stuff, fills up this lower section of the bag. Over here in this side pocket, unzip it, and then we can take out some food here. Got some beef jerky, got 3 or 4 different, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 different sticks in there. And then we have Old Faithful here, my portable Bible. And then that's pretty much it on this side. There's another pocket like this on the other side, so let's turn over to that one and take a look and see what's in there. Real quick in reference to the food, obviously this is food, it's calories, so common sense. If you are in a situation where there's no food around, at least I do have some food. And this just because it lasts a little bit longer than something that's going to be crushed and broken up, or just not going to last because it doesn't have a long shelf life. So these do actually, they do have a shelf life, so don't think you can throw them in your bag indefinitely. And then, I've talked about this before, but, I am a pastor, and so having a Bible with me is good for myself, it's good for me to communicate to other people, and also just in a survival situation or a tough situation, good to have something to A, get your mind off the situation, and B, something positive and God-centered to be focused on. So that's why I keep my Bible with me. Over here on this side, this is my Illumination pocket. And so I've got this bag, which you can see is tearing a little bit, so I got to replace that bag. But inside we've got 3 different options. First is a Black Diamond headlamp, and Black Diamond makes a lot of rock climbing gear. They make quality gear, so I like this headlamp a lot, and wasn't super expensive. So that's my first illumination option. My second one is a, let's see if you can see that logo there. Yeah, Husky crank flashlight. So basically, you're gonna crank it, and I would do it a lot more if I was really trying to get it to go strong, but you can see it comes on. It's got a bunch of different settings, and then this light on the side will flash. So that's nice because you're not completely dependent upon batteries, basically. So second illumination option. And then the third one is this little stream light. It's got bright, dimmer, and then off. Comes with this little lanyard. And this ran me about 15 bucks, so it's quite a good deal, and it just takes one AA battery, which is nice because I do have extra batteries in my pack here. And I always have an EDC light on me, sometimes from up to a Surefire Fury down to a MicroStream. So I've got an additional light on me as well. So this entire pocket is just filled with illumination options, so I can get in there quickly if I end up in a situation where it's dark. In this front pocket, you can see I've got my mechanics gloves, and these will give you a little bit of warmth, but primarily I have them in there just because they're protection when you're out chopping wood or sawing wood, cutting wood, doing any type of things in the outdoors or even around your car. Obviously, originally they are made for mechanics, but good gloves, not super expensive. And at last I saw a deal, I think it was in Walmart. It was 3 pairs for about 25 bucks, so quite inexpensive. Either 3 pairs or 2 pairs, but quite inexpensive for some nicely made gloves. And then also in here, I've got some hand warmers, and I just got a bunch of these actually for an early Christmas present. So these are great. Having these in addition to, you know, a little bit of covering with the gloves help keep your hands warm, and obviously you can use these for a variety of different things, not just to keep your hands warm. So that is it for this front section. Because the intersections are so full, I can't put a ton in this this outer pocket. Let's head into the bag. Okay, in this next section of the bag, I have glacier garlic noodles. This is just a very basic meal. Heat up some water, throw it in here, and you're good to go. I don't plan on getting stuck in a situation where I have no food for an extended amount of time. I'm usually more prepared than that, but in case I do find myself in that situation and I can't go and forage or hunt because I'm there for a longer amount of time, now I've got at least some form of calories right there in my bag. So I have that. Next, you can see I have my box here with some stickers on the outside, and these are my batteries. I've got C's, AAAs, AA's. I've got this tiny little screwdriver, which came with some batteries, and this is often the size of a head of a screw when you're trying to get into compartments that have batteries. And then I also have some wet fire in here, which is great for starting fires, even if it's been raining out or whatever it might be. I have these separated so that they don't bump into one another and you start losing the energy of the battery. And I do have space for a couple more things. So lots of batteries. I found that really useful to have extra batteries around. And again, this is a pack that I'm not hiking extra long distances with. This is in my car, but it's nice to know if I'm in a situation where I run out of batteries, I do have some backups here. And down in here you can see I've got a bunch of different, I've got some pens, I got a highlighter, and then in here I have one of 2, let's see if I can get this out here, one of 2 Motorola radios. So there's one, and you can see the antenna for the other one here. And this is nice because now if I'm with somebody and we get separated, or we have to go different directions, we can give each other, you know, I can have a radio, that person can have a radio, and now we can be in touch. So that's pretty much it for this main, the second section. Now we'll head into the main portion of the bag. One other thing I did want to note is I have a small pad of paper here, and this is great for taking notes, leaving notes, whatever it might be. That was actually hidden in one of these smaller pockets over here. All right, now we'll head into the inner portion of the bag. You're looking at the main portion of the bag, and as you can see, it's got more of those mesh pockets with zippers. So that's great. You can see the gear, but also keep it organized. Over on this side, we'll start off with my dry bag, and this is just a very inexpensive one that I bought. But this is great for carrying water or keeping water out or off of things. You know, so I could throw clothes in here, I could transport things in here that I want to keep dry. But also, if I boiled some water, I could throw it in here as well. So this offers a variety of different options. And I do have a review on a lot of these items, but I'm just mentioning this one because I was thinking of it. I do have a review for this one on the Everyday Tactical Vids page. So there's that. And then we've got these clips that basically keep things a little bit more organized. down here in the bottom, this is a clean canteen container and also a nesting cup. So these are stainless steel. You can put this right on the fire. As you can see, I have done so. And then this is obviously great for carrying water, and they do have a variety of different tops you can put on this. So this is the one that came with mine. But now I've got my container option. Again, going back to those 10 C's: cutting, combustion, container, covering, and cordage are those first 5 C's. And you'll see that I've got all 10 C's, but this is the container portion of those 10 C's. So got that. Here I've got my Blackhawk rollout medical bag. I'll show you what's in here in a minute. This is one of the main components, or most important components for me in this entire bag. So this is the variety of situations that I come across, or that a lot of people are going to come across, are going to be medical situations where people need help in that way. So that's why I have this bag. And again, I'll show you the inside, what's inside this in a moment. This is a bag from ITW. It's basically a massive Ziploc bag, and this is where I keep all my clothes. So I'll show you what's in here in a moment after I show you a couple other things here. One of them is this item, which is definitely one of the heavier items in the bag, but this is the trucker's friend. Give you a full body shot there. There it is. And I've done a review on this. Again, because I'm not hiking long distances with this bag, it's okay for me to have some extra weight. For me, I don't have to keep this just in my trunk or, you know, in the back of my car. I can actually have this in the bag. So this is a demolition tool. It's got multiple uses: hammer, pry, all types of things. So I keep this in the bag as well. And then I've got a little stuff sack here, which has a bunch of small gear. And let me just show you what's in here real quick. Then we'll go into some of those other bags. Zip ties, which I just used some of these the other day when I was repairing a part on our van when I was away visiting family out of state. Part of the van broke and I had to fix it, and good thing to have these zip ties. Small sewing kit, and this could be used obviously for just general sewing, but also medical purposes if you had to. Got some paracord here. You can see I've got this black paracord, and then under here I've got some cheaper paracord. So I just have a bunch of different options. I do have more cordage in the other portion of the bag, but some cordage there. Compass, I probably don't have to explain how to use this too much, but this is something good to have. Also one of the 10 C's. Have some wire. This is lighter gauge wire. Then I have some more here. This is heavier gauge wire. I do have these 2 large rubber bands. These are from some MSR snowshoes I had a while ago. They kept the snowshoes together, and they're just heavy duty rubber bands, so certainly a lot of uses for that. More rubber bands, a couple more needles, and dental floss, which is a great cordage for sewing. It's very, very strong actually, so dental floss is a good thing to just have with you. Lightweight, easy to buy, and easy to carry. I have a different knife, like I showed you the Conspiracy, but this is a Swiss Army knife, and it does have a variety of different little tools on this. I also found these knives are just awesome for keeping sharp. Mine just stays very, very sharp, so I've liked that. And then I've got potable agua, and then also the other one, which basically takes the taste out of water that you've treated with this. So I've got water treatment option, and then the last in this bag is SPF. Is it SPF? That's what it's called, right? SPF. Yeah, I always mess up those letters. SPF 50 banana boat lip balm or sunscreen lip balm. And if you've ever gotten your lips burnt by the sun, that is terrible. So that happens often when you get to higher elevations or you're in the woods for a long time and don't realize it, out in the snow for a long time in the sun. So that's why I have this. All right, let me go into the clothes bag and show you what's in there. Getting into the bag here, first you can see I've got a poncho. It's from Ozark Trail, which is a Walmart brand, but this is a little heavier duty than some of the other ponchos they have. Just another covering option in case you do get into the rain. This is an EMS midweight level 2 long sleeve t-shirt. This is good for wicking moisture away from your body. We've got a proper multicam boonie hat. It'll give a little bit of additional heat as far as keeping heat in, you know, that you lose out of your head, but also keeping the sun off you in warmer weather. Fleece North Face hat. This is definitely for warmth. Extra pair of socks. Nice to be able to change into a nice pair of socks if your feet are all soaked from doing something. We got some Army surplus wool gloves here, and those are not super expensive, probably $5 or so. And wool is obviously very warm, so not as warm as mittens, but still keeping your hands warm as opposed to having nothing on them. This is I believe it's called a sniper wrap from Condor, and you can put this around your neck. You can wrap it partially around your neck and around your head as well. And I've found for myself that when my neck is warm, my entire body is way warmer. Some people notice that a lot, some people don't. For me, I definitely do. So I want to have at least something I can wrap around my neck in addition to pulling my collar up. And then the last item in here is a large fleece. This is just I think a $8 or $9 fleece from Walmart. It's medium weight, but with this and adding this in, and then putting even a poncho on top of that, that'll keep a lot of heat in. Now if you're on top of Everest, you're going to be cold with just this, but you're probably not going to be on top of Everest with this. So being realistic, the situations I'm going to bump into, having this, and then probably the jacket I have already that I'm wearing in the car as I'm driving, now I've got a lot of layers to keep me warm. All right, what you're looking at here is my Black Hawk medical bag, and I've got a ton of different things in here from a razor blade for cutting, nail clippers, tweezers, obviously things for external wounds, stopping blood loss, things like that. I've got some quick clot in there as well. I've got some Israeli bandages. I have some down here, some ace bandages. I've got gloves. So a full rundown of medical gear, and this takes up a lot of space, but this is a vital piece of gear for me. And one thing I want to throw out to you, I'll talk about this in another video. I guess two things. First is that I also keep a separate headlamp right here. So I've got a headlamp in case I'm doing some sort of medical work on somebody. Bam, I've got a headlamp there. I don't have to go scrounging around or try to be holding a flashlight in one hand and working with the other. The second thing is that even if you're not qualified in every piece of the gear that you have, which I'm not, I know I've got some basic first aid skill, but I'm not qualified to use every piece of equipment here perfectly. If you say you come across an accident and someone's there who is trained but doesn't have the materials, now you become a resource to them. They could say, oh, I could really help this person if I had X, Y, and Z gauze or bandage. Boom, now you can say, here's what I've got, how can I help? So this offers a variety of tools to you individually, for yourself and for others, but also you could give it to someone, or give some of the material to someone, and that could help you out, or help that person out in assisting someone who might be hurt or injured. One other thing I'll note is I do have some medicines here in the actual kit. So I've got some sore throat lozenges, I have Imodium, I've got Advil, I've got Tylenol, things like that. So again, a wide variety of different options for medical situations I'm likely to come across, or situations I might find myself in. The last two sections here in the main portion of the pack, in this lower portion, these are, as you can see, home dust masks. This is not like wearing a ventilator or something you're going to be, cleaning asbestos with, but it will keep dust and junk out of your mouth and your nose. So having this around, if you're ever in a situation where there's a lot of stuff in the air, this is a good option. Toilet paper. I probably shouldn't have to describe this, but good to have that in case you get stuck out in the middle of nowhere without toilet paper. Duct tape. I've got two different types. As you can see, I really compressed them down, so saving space there. I do have a bright orange one here, and then just generic duct tape as well. More hand warmers and an emergency blanket. This is just, again, a generic one, not a super expensive one. However, over on this side, I'll show you the one I have here. This is a sport utility blanket from SOL, and you can use it to make a shelter, as you can see, but also down here you can use it as basically an astronaut blanket to carry stuff, just to keep yourself off the ground. And then obviously this is kind of like a lean-to shelter, but it will keep you very warm. I've actually heard people talk about this. When you have a fire, basically, where this guy's stove is, reflecting off that blanket, it'll be quite warm in there if you get a little bit of protection on the sides as well. So this was, yeah, there you go. $18.99 over at Kittier Trading Post in Southern Maine. This is a really nice option, not super heavyweight, and it does come in this very nice pack, which you can reseal it and put it back in there when you're done with it. Last object here is 100 feet of blue paracord. I do have that black paracord already. I do have a paracord bracelet on me at all times, but more cordage is obviously better than less, and then I've got some rubber bands in addition to that. So here are all the items from in the bag and the bag as well there on the table. Let me just offer some thoughts as I wrap up here. First is that I have additionally in my car a small Tupperware box of giveaway items. So that's a hat, gloves, some food, some money, some information about our church. Folks want to get plugged into a church in the area or need some assistance on that level, both financially and also spiritually, obviously. So I keep that in my car because rather than if someone's walking down the side of the road or someone's, you know, stuck on the side of the road, I don't have to run to the back of my car, dig through my bag to get stuff out. Boom, I've got it there accessible in my car quickly. I also have a separate section in the trunk of my car where I keep emergency equipment for the car. So flares, one of those reflective triangles, other items that I might use to actually do repairs on the car. I'm thinking about also a headlight, like extra bulbs for a headlight, things like that. So I have that in the trunk, and I have the box in the back of the car, and I also have my emergency reflective gear in the back of the car as in the back seat, so I don't have to get out, get into the trunk, get into this bag, and then put on my reflective gear. If I have to get out of the car in the night, I've got reflective gear that I can put on right there, and it's already in the car. So once I'm out of the car, it's already on me. So this is everything I keep in the bag, in the trunk. You've seen the medical stuff, and you've seen everything I have in the bag. So let's get the discussion going. If you have one of these bags in your trunk, let's hear about what you have in yours. And also, if there's something here that really jumped out to you, said, oh, I've never thought about that before, I'm going to add that to my car survival bag or my car emergency bag. Let's hear about that as well. As always, thanks for checking out the videos. Please subscribe to Everyday Tactical Vids. Please like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and check us out on Tumblr. Take care.